Welcome back to the Popcorn Perspective. It's your host Jay and AK. AK, how was that finale for Only Murders in the Building season 4?
You want the hot take of the night?
Give me the hot take, buddy.
Wasn't my favorite season finale. Great season, but the finale felt flat.
I totally agree with that. It just did not live up to my expectations, even though it was a really good season. That's the
Yeah.
part that kind
So
of hurts.
yeah, I mean, I do apologize for coming late on this episode. No, me and Jay, we've been discussing this episode for the last couple of days, and we just couldn't wrap our heads on how to discuss this episode. I think the best way to probably come up with it is just maybe the unanswered questions. Go over the unanswered questions and where we felt it kind of landed flat at.
Yeah,
So
so
what
we have a lot of questions that were answered,
just never got
thankfully.
answered? Yeah,
But there were questions that got answered, right? Um,
yeah. There were some questions answered, but I feel like the questions that you and I were bringing up all season long
yeah,
didn't even get touched at all in the finale, which kind of felt weird, right?
yeah. Maybe we can think of a few that I felt I'm glad they touched on it. So
Hmm.
Saz's script being in the beer case, they answered that pretty quickly, which was good because Saz was actually
Yes.
bringing her script to Charles, and that's why the beer case was at Charles's place. So that part made sense. Marshall's motive did make sense. I was okay with it. Um, I don't think I necessarily liked that it was just him, though. I wanted a
Yeah,
bit
I felt
more.
like yeah, I felt like it was kind of a cop out for writing themselves into a hole because I feel like they wrote themselves into it has to be at least two people, and I
Right.
was okay with that. It made perfect sense. You know,
Yeah.
you're on the east side and they down the west side. You have to get across somehow and disintegrate the body. I'll be honest. Even though Marshall, when he did his action and all that, looked kind of like a badass, I still can't buy the fact that this small, scrawny-ish guy was able to carry Sass down an elevator into the incinerator and not have anybody notice.
Absolutely. Not only that, they got lucky with the whole Dudanoff thing.
Mm-hmm.
It did
Mm-hmm.
not really tie in that much. Okay, besides the apartment being free.
I mean, the
And
only way they really tied up the Dune is how Marshall knew of Sass, and it was kind of like a plot device for to have a way on how Sass knew Marshall.
and then the question goes to why did Saz investigate Dudanoff so much? What was the point of that?
Yeah, like what's up with the mortar bird? Like, why did she create that?
Yeah.
Did she think Marshall killed Sass? I mean, Dunoff? Is that what she was thinking? Because that felt kind of unanswered as well.
Or was it just a random murder she was investigating? But why? Like,
Yeah,
there's still questions unanswered.
because I did like that fact that when Marshall was coming clean, and he was like, well, not Marshall coming clean. When he was reading Sass's original script, he's like,
Hmm.
this whole subsection with Dunoff could have been cut. And then I'm watching the show and I'm like, yeah, I kind of agree. This whole subsection with doing enough
Yeah.
could have been cut. And I'm like, it's kind of weird that the writers acknowledged it, but they didn't really do anything with it. Like, you can acknowledge a fault, but why don't you go around and fix the fault? Bef-
Yeah, I totally agree. 100%.
It
Maybe
was a
there's
fun,
something that we
cheeky.
missed, but it really didn't feel like that part tied off. Also, who poisoned Oliver's dog?
Yeah, like, I love the idea that the writers are probably reading, like, not reading, like, Reddit posts or, like, Twitter posts and seeing
Yeah.
things that they could have fixed. But don't bring it up if you don't have an answer. Just drop it. Like, it's okay if you drop some plot points 3 seasons
Hmm.
out. It's fine at that point. But if you
Right.
bring up a plot point that happened in season one that was dropped 3 seasons later, and at that point, give us a resolution. Why dangle that in our heads but never give us a resolution?
And then we also had a scene with Jen towards the end where she shoots quite
Marshall.
a few feet out. Yeah, she kills Marshall. Do we know that she can shoot a gun? Was that
Yeah,
ever
because
established?
she was very anti shooting.
Hey, buddy, come here, come,
Hey Nova.
Nova, Nova, come here, come. What are you doing, man? Come here, Nova. What's this? Come, come here, come. Why are you just staring at me now, Nova? Quit it. I hear the dog barking too. It's okay. Come on. You're fine. All right. Sorry, there's a
Alright.
dog going berserk in the neighbor's place. So
Oh no, you're okay.
yeah. All right.
Alright, three. Yeah, so like we've seen all throughout. Every time we see a Jan and she's talking about killing, she has a very hate for shooting. She's always wants to get up close and personal to do the
Yeah,
killing. So that was kind of weird that she somehow was able to get a sniper and shoot from across the building and land a non-lethal shot
but it was
while
lethal. Didn't
not.
he die? Didn't Marshall die?
Oh, did he die? I thought it was
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
non-lethal.
No, I thought he
Okay, so a
died.
lethal. Oh yeah, yeah, it was lethal. Yeah, yeah, because they did say yeah. So
Yeah.
he shot a lethal. So she shot a lethal shot, and
Hmm.
somehow managed to not miss and hit any of the three: Charles, Oliver, and Mabel.
Yeah, and we had to believe the fact that it was a sharpshooter who took out Jan, right? Which Marshall was. He
No,
has
no, to take our
experience.
sass. Yeah, yeah, to take our sass.
Yeah. Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry to take out Saz. So that's the part. It's like it was very convenient, and that's
hmm
not the way I wanted the finale to go.
I mean, it's like we said it like earlier, but the west side to east side, like you have to cross.
Hmm.
Marsh. We find out Marshall apparently just used the ledges on the walls of the out exterior, and he
Hmm.
managed to get to the west side. Which I'm like, okay, cool, but nobody saw that. A guy climbing the terrace of the apartment buildings, and I understand disbelief. It's TV, it's Hollywood. You can
Hmm.
have a little bit of disbelief for the show to go on, but this show tries to be kind of realistic on how to solve things, so I feel like it could have been a little smarter.
Agreed. And were
But
there
I feel
any
like
other points
nagging.
that? Sorry, go ahead.
I feel like we're nagging a little too much overall. Like, I think you and I agree the season as a whole was a great season. What
Agreed.
was your highlights of this episode? Did you have any highlights?
I think I enjoyed um, basically him coming clean
Mm-hmm.
on everything. So we got to experience everything from a slightly different perspective,
Yeah.
and him basically stating that he was a son of a shooter, a sharpshooter, and he didn't want to do that anymore. He wanted to become a writer, and then the jealousy creeped in when Saz did such a
hmm
good job on her first try. So all of that, the building blocks that they did, I thought it played well.
I do love the way he writes. He writes like a hipster millennial. Like he says man at the end, or he says like at the end. And I love Zach Galifianakis reading the script like, I don't like saying like or man at the end of every word, every sentence. And I'm like, yeah, no, that's how I talk. Like, so I kind of like the
Yeah,
way he
no,
wrote. It was quite funny, quite realistic, I guess you would say, for a modern day writer.
yeah,
But
yeah. I could
no,
definitely
I
see
agree.
that.
I love the whole Sass and the Marshall backstory. I feel like the
Mhm.
Reading, I didn't care for it all that much. I feel like that was kind of rushed. What did
The
you think about that?
wedding, yes. I liked how they kept saying how Loretta was gonna die
Hello?
in the episode. Hey, can you hear me?
No, you're getting cut. You're frozen on your end. I can't even see you.
Yeah, yeah. You're frozen too, but I can still hear you. So
Okay, now it's
yeah.
okay. Hmm. Now let's
Hey,
just
let
continue
me
then.
take a look. Okay. Yeah. So I did. I like how they kept stating how Loretta was gonna die during the entire episode because something bad has to happen. which that was pretty funny, and unfortunately she doesn't die, so they end up getting married.
Gosh, you're such an
Um,
ass.
but yeah, so we finally get to the point where
What did you think about, I guess, her going away? Her excuse of, I have to leave, I had to go overseas to continue filming my show.
yeah, it seems convenient, so they don't have to deal with it in the next season.
And I feel like that's like I said. I think we said this from like day one when I was watching the show earlier this season. That's my biggest complaint with this season. They keep bringing up all these love interests, all these other characters of their past, their
Mhm.
families, who never gets brought up again. Or like Mabel's best friend from like season one. They had like a childhood friendship. Why has he never come back? I'm like, what happened to him? They had a great like relationship, like friendly relationship, or like Theo, the death son who was involved in the war in season one. He was in every season just briefly. He was just dropped in this season, and I'm like, I hope they don't drop Loretta. I hope at least they mention her, or at least have her as a character throughout, even if she's in like one episode, or just quickly mentioned briefly. Because
Yeah,
now
like a
Marsh,
phone call or something.
yeah, because Oliver's now married to her. I want to see her, at least hear reference of her, right?
Yes, yes.
Because
So go ahead.
no, go go.
So that's a really good point. And also we have Charles's daughter, who we've not gotten to see in the last few seasons.
Yeah, and she was so
There are a lot
fun in
of good
season two.
characters they can bring back.
And it's kind of sad because like Lester is one of the characters I was wanting to see more of, and
You
unfortunately, like we were
might
talking
next
about,
season.
I mean, yeah, we're gonna see a lot of him next season. Unfortunately, for all the wrong reasons. And yeah, so like Lester, Lester is a character that we had a lot of seasons with, an episode on season one and
Hmm.
two. Because in season one and two, it was a very smaller production, and we had a lot more of the residents of the
Right.
apartment buildings, which was great, and they all had their own personalities and they were fun. Unfortunately, now all we really have is Howard and briefly the landlord. What's her name? The older lady.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank.
Yeah, and they're great characters and they're fun. But what happened to the whole entire season one cast who wanted to out the trio and kick them out of the apartment? Where did they all go to? Like, the whole apartment HOA
Yep.
thing that they had.
Yep.
Where did all of them go? Like, I wanted them back. Like, they were so much fun. Like,
We had the therapist who kept trying to mooch off the
yes,
the sorrows happening. So yeah, there were some
yeah.
pretty
We
funny
had the
characters.
Mediterranean restaurant owners and all that. Like, they all had like a own person. All had their character. Like, they were very
Yeah.
yeah. And I'm afraid the show's getting too big where they can't divert time to like the smaller cast members, and I
Yeah.
feel like I kind of want them to shrink down the cast like they again. Like stop getting all these big name actors. Like let's go back to smaller characters. Like because let's be real, Kamal Nachiani was kind of racist in the show.
A lot of those characters were on the
The
West Side.
resties, yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
Um,
unless he's going to be a continuous character, now that we are introduced more West Side and Mabel's leaving the West Side, but
yeah, but we'll have to see how that goes
yeah, because
because
Lester unfortunately died, so that means we're
mhm,
going to have to get more a Cornea backstory now, right?
yes, we get a introduction of a new character basically saying that her husband is missing, I think.
Yeah, and apparently they're like the
So
previous owners of the Cornea,
yeah, so it'll be very interesting to see how that ties in as well. And that's just set up for season 5. Obviously, we know that.
and I do believe that's that alone because they are Italian. The last name, and I cannot remember the name. It was a very complicated name she gave. But that name she gave is an Italian name, and this is New York City, so one can refer to all the underground tunnels this apartment complex has. It has to be a
Hmm.
mafia owned, right? That's what I'm
That'd
thinking.
be interesting.
I'm thinking we're gonna go Mafia next season, which I think will be freaking hilarious and fun.
So talking about the mafia, Marshall, blanking on his actual real name, but he said that his father wanted him to take care of the family business, which was basically
Hmm.
being an assassin. Could that assassin be part of the mafia? That'd be really interesting. We'll get to see
I mean,
that come full
yeah,
ahead.
if they want to justify Marshall's actions even further, definitely that would be great. And I think that'd be
Yeah.
interesting to say, like, hey, you guys killed my son. Now
Yes.
we're focusing all on you, which would be very interesting. Like that'd be, and then also, the stunt double Gilroy died
Yeah.
too, and that, with that, is this going to start like a big like gang war in New York? Like,
Talking about things that were not answered, the whole "I'm watching you" thing. How did Marshall have access to all the cameras? Or when
oh
did he
yeah,
get to place those cameras? Is there someone
yeah,
else that we've
why?
not figuring out yet?
Yeah, why would Marshall be writing? And this also goes back to season one. They had that stop investigating note that was left on Jan's door, right?
I'm watching you. The same thing.
Same thing,
Something
yeah.
like that.
So
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah, so we have a lot of these like, I guess, plot threads that could combine. If they want to go the mafia route, they can say the mafia's been keeping an eye on this hotel, and every time they get close to the mafia themselves, they
Hmm.
kind of scare them off. Like, because the Jan letter came around the time they found out about all the hidden gateways that the Konya had, right? All the hidden
Yes.
doorways and stuff, passageways. So maybe the mafia was getting kind of scared, like, oh no, they're onto our passageways. But oh, hey, never mind. They went a different route and not
Yeah.
investigating further, so we can fall back, right? They
Hmm.
could do something along those lines, which would be cool. And Lester is one of the oldest, I guess, workers at the Akonia, so maybe he has ties with them.
And you know why this actually makes sense, the whole mafia thing? Is someone had to pay off the detectives in season one when they were investigating the Demas case. And we don't
Hmm.
know who got bought out, which police officers are corrupt, and who's
Yeah.
actually funding this. So, because the Demuses could actually be working for a mafia organization, for all we know.
For some, so I'm watching The Penguin. Have you started watching that yet?
Not yet.
Okay, it is very mafia based. Obviously, it's the Penguin from the Batman,
Yeah.
Gotham. So watching that, it's kind of like what you're saying. There's so many different players out there. There's like, so now we can say we got the Irish gangs with Ben Gilroy's side. We have, I guess you could say, the triad with Marshall's side. We have, I guess, the Italian mafia with the with
that would
the
that'd
landlord.
be
It's like,
a
are we
crazy season
opening up a
five.
big? I'm
That'd
down
be a
for it. They want to
crazy season
go
five.
complete bonkers with it. Let's do it. Um,
Yeah.
but overall, as a whole, where does this season lie for you compared to the other seasons?
I've had such a blast watching this season. So it
Yeah,
is still a really high season, in my opinion. The ending could have been better, but I have faith in the writers for season five.
yeah. I would actually say I would probably put this as my second favorite season.
Okay.
I would say season two, three, season two, four, one, and three.
Okay. I really like season one, so I think for me that would still be higher.
Maybe I need to watch season one again. This could be recency bias. We just watched the season,
Yeah.
so I might be higher on this than I would be if I rewatched the other two seasons, three seasons. But I really like this season up until the ending.
Yes. Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Any last thoughts or any final points you want to make
No,
on
if we
season
missed
three
anything, definitely
or
put it
season
in the
four?
comments. We can
Yeah.
maybe create another video and discuss those points.
Yeah, maybe we could do a like a drop plot points episode, and we can
Yeah.
see maybe these plot points will have some life down the road. They just completely dropped.
Agreed.
But yeah, let us know down below. What did you guys think about the season? Was the finale a hit, a miss? What do you want to see more for season five? We have 5 seasons of only murders. Wow, this
Yeah,
is a
and
bad
that'll come up quick.
apartment. I would have moved out by more than two. Let's be real.
Yeah. man.
Yeah, I can only imagine how low the rates are, though.
All right. Peace.
All right, you guys. Peace.